Most people believe they need to start a business, invent something new, or win the lottery to become rich. But the truth is, wealth is not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep, how you manage it, and how you grow it. If you are earning a salary today, you already hold the key to building lasting financial independence. The only question is, will you use it or will you waste it? When you look around at the lives of the wealthy, the ones who started with nothing but an ordinary income, you begin to notice a hidden pattern. It is not luck, it is not chance, it is not even talent that separates them. It is the clarity of a decision and the vibration of intention that molds their path. The very first step in transforming your salary into a river of wealth is to decide with absolute certainty how much wealth you desire. Not as a wish, not as a vague hope, but as a definite choice, a command to the unseen forces of life. Wealth responds to clarity. Money, opportunities, ideas, and people are drawn to the one who knows exactly what they want. If you say you want more money, life will give you a few coins and consider its duty fulfilled. But if you declare with conviction that you will have financial independence, that you will accumulate a fortune that sustains your freedom, then your mind aligns with that vision and your world begins to shift to meet it. This decision must not be casual. It must be felt in your imagination as though it were already yours. See yourself opening your bank statements and smiling at the growing numbers. Feel the joy of being debt-free, the freedom of choice, the security of abundance. Let this image sink so deeply into your subconscious that it becomes part of your identity. Once the subconscious accepts it, action flows effortlessly, and your salary becomes not just money received for hours worked, but the seed of a fortune yet to unfold. The vibration you hold in imagination draws to you circumstances that match it, and life has no choice but to conform. The power of decision is the power to create reality. When you say to yourself, "I will be rich on my salary," and you say it as if it were already a fact, the world must rearrange itself around that decree. The mind is the workshop of wealth. The salary is merely the tool placed in your hand. Your task is to direct it with purpose. Without a decision, money flows through your life like water slipping through open fingers. With a decision, even a modest income becomes a fountain that never stops flowing, compounding, and multiplying in silent obedience to your intent. As you hold to this vision, you begin to notice opportunities that you once ignored. You start saving a little more, spending a little less, and those small choices accumulate into visible progress. But the true secret is not the habit, it is the state of being you occupy. If you persist in feeling wealthy, then every action taken with your salary carries the seed of riches. The numbers do not matter as much as the vibration behind them. A clear mind aligned with a definite decision turns even an average income into extraordinary wealth over time. Once this decision is made, the second step unfolds naturally. Pay yourself first, no matter what. Most people live in a cycle where bills, obligations, and desires consume their income before they even think of saving. They wait for the perfect time, the extra money, the windfall that never comes. But the ones who grow rich on their salary operate with a different principle. The first portion of every payment they receive is set aside for their future self. It is untouchable, sacred, a declaration of wealth in action. This is not about the amount. It is about the vibration of priority. When you pay yourself first, you are telling your subconscious that you are worthy of wealth, that your future is valuable, that abundance is your birthright. Even if it is a small amount, even if it is less than what you think is significant, the act itself radiates a powerful message. Life responds not to your words, but to your consistent vibration, and this one habit anchors the vibration of prosperity into your daily existence. Imagine this as a ritual of self-respect. Each time your salary arrives, you take a portion and place it aside. You see it growing month by month, year by year, and as it grows, your sense of wealth expands. You no longer feel like a servant to your bills or your expenses. You feel like a master of your destiny, commanding your resources and directing your future. This feeling of control, of deliberate creation, magnifies your power to manifest more. Money attracts money. Abundance attracts abundance. And as you keep paying yourself first, your vibration becomes one of someone who already possesses wealth, which in turn draws greater wealth into your life. Some may argue they cannot afford to save, but the truth is they cannot afford not to. If you wait until every bill is paid, until every desire is satisfied, you will wait forever. But if you make yourself the first priority, even in small ways, you activate the law of increase. That which you value increases. That which you respect grows. By paying yourself first, you are declaring wealth as your constant companion, and life will match this declaration with compounding returns. It is not the salary alone that makes one rich. It is the discipline of channeling that salary with intention, of holding a wealthy image in the mind, and of manifesting abundance through consistent acts of self-prioritization. When you decide clearly how much wealth you desire and you pay yourself before anyone else, you set in motion unseen forces that align with your vision. You may begin small, but the vibration is mighty. Every great fortune began with a single conscious choice, and every wealthy life is built on the foundation of honoring oneself first. To live below your means is not a punishment, it is liberation. Most people confuse wealth with the appearance of wealth. They dress themselves in borrowed status, drive cars that enslave them with payments, fill their homes with objects that do not increase their inner worth, and spend endlessly to keep up an image that has no foundation. Yet those who rise from an ordinary salary to extraordinary wealth understand a different truth. They realize that real riches begin not with display, but with discipline. When you choose to live below your means, you are not depriving yourself, you are creating space for your fortune to take root. You are telling life that you control desire. Desire does not control you. This choice is not one of scarcity, but of abundance in its purest form. Imagine yourself already possessing great wealth. The truly wealthy do not need to prove anything. They do not need to shout their success through clothes or possessions, for they feel it within. When you take on this same vibration, you no longer feel compelled to impress others with consumption. Instead, you cultivate the quiet power of contentment. You spend deliberately only on what serves your vision, and everything else becomes unnecessary noise. This act is not about cutting life short, but about expanding it. By living below your means, you redirect energy from meaningless outflow into intentional growth. Every time you choose not to spend on what does not matter, you are reinforcing the state of being wealthy. You are declaring that your wealth is not fragile, not dependent on things, not desperate for validation. It lives in you, and because it lives in you, it must externalize in the form of financial growth. The vibration you hold when you live below your means is one of mastery, of command, of knowing that the unseen riches are already yours, and the outer world, being a mirror, begins to reflect this truth back to you. Unexpected opportunities appear, expenses seem lighter, and your salary stretches further. This is not luck. This is the law of vibration responding to your chosen state. Living below your means is also a practice of gratitude. When you appreciate what you already have, you no longer hunger for what is unnecessary. Gratitude raises your vibration to a higher frequency, and that frequency naturally attracts more to be grateful for. The man or woman who lives with appreciation for every simple meal, every modest possession, every opportunity to save, is already aligned with the vibration of abundance. And abundance cannot resist those who live in gratitude. It must flow to them, for they are prepared to receive it. By adopting this way of life, your salary, however small it may appear now, becomes a channel for unlimited growth. The next step is to eliminate all debt quickly. Debt is a vibration of bondage, a constant reminder that part of your life energy belongs to someone else. It weighs on the mind, steals creative thought, and lowers the frequency of abundance. To carry debt is to walk with a shadow that follows you everywhere. But once you decide to free yourself, the process itself becomes a manifestation ritual. Every payment made toward clearing debt is not just money exchanged, it is a declaration of freedom. It is the vibration of chains breaking, of a soul regaining its authority over life. Visualize yourself as already debt-free. See your accounts clear, your obligations erased, your name unburdened. Feel the relief and joy of living with nothing hanging over you. Dwell in that state and allow it to become real in your imagination, for the imagination is the only true reality. When you live in the state of being free, you will find ways to accelerate the release of debt. Extra money flows in, expenses decrease, opportunities arise, and the weight begins to lift. The outer circumstances must obey the inner conviction. There is no greater gift you can give yourself than to step out of debt and into freedom. For once you do, your entire salary becomes yours to command. You no longer send fragments of it into the past, trying to patch mistakes or cover overconsumption. Instead, every coin is directed toward building your future. The shift in vibration is profound, from bondage to freedom, from lack to mastery, from anxiety to peace. This transformation is not merely financial, it is spiritual. It is the reclaiming of your creative power. Some may think of debt as normal, as if everyone carries it and therefore it is harmless. But wealth is never built on what is common, it is built on what is uncommon. The wealthy do not worship debt. They respect money enough not to enslave themselves to it. By eliminating your debts with determination, you rise into a new state of consciousness where money becomes your servant, not your master. This new state draws wealth because it is aligned with freedom, and freedom is the true essence of abundance. When you combine the discipline of living below your means with the determination to eliminate all debt, you set in motion a powerful vibration of wealth creation. You become untouchable by the illusions of consumer culture, unshaken by temporary desires, and unbound from obligations that weaken your spirit. Your salary transforms into a sacred stream of energy directed only toward growth and freedom. And in that vibration, abundance has no choice but to expand, for the law of life is always to give more to the one who governs well what they already possess. To save and invest consistently is to step into the rhythm of creation itself. Everything in life multiplies when given attention and nourishment. A single seed planted in fertile soil does not remain a seed. It unfolds into a tree, bearing fruit and creating countless more seeds. Your salary, when directed with the vibration of wealth, behaves in the same way. Each time you save, each time you invest, you are planting seeds of abundance into the soil of your future. What begins as a small and almost invisible act grows into a forest of financial freedom. The power is not in the size of what you begin with, but in the persistence of continuing, again and again, without hesitation, without excuse, with full faith that the unseen is already working in your favor. To save and invest consistently is not merely a financial practice, but a spiritual declaration. It is saying to life, I believe in my future. I trust in the unseen forces to multiply what I place into their hands. Every deposit into savings, every investment you make, is not just money placed aside, but an intention sent out into the universe. The vibration behind the act is one of expectancy, of knowing that life returns to you what you send out, pressed down, multiplied, and running over. When you hold this vibration of expectancy, you no longer wonder if your savings will grow. You know they must grow, for that is the nature of life. Consistency is the secret key. Anyone can save once or twice. Anyone can invest when the mood is strong, but the wealthy know that abundance is born out of rhythm. Just as the sun rises without fail, just as the seasons turn without delay, so must your saving and investing become a law in your own life. This rhythm builds a vibration of stability. It builds a sense of inevitability, a knowing that your wealth is not a matter of chance, but of certainty. As you continue, your mind begins to shift. You stop thinking in terms of what you can spend today and start thinking in terms of what you are building tomorrow. This is the mindset of the rich, and it can be yours no matter your salary. You do not need to begin with grand amounts. Begin with what you have and let the law of increase work for you. A small stream, when flowing consistently, carves valleys and shapes landscapes. So it is with money. Let your savings and investments, however small, flow with constancy and watch as they carve out a new landscape of freedom in your life. The secret is not waiting for more to arrive before you begin. The secret is beginning now with what you have, for life multiplies only what is set into motion. The vibration of consistency is irresistible to abundance, and once you align with it, growth is assured. Time itself becomes your ally when you step into this rhythm. For time, when joined with consistency, produces the miracle of compounding. The smallest seed given enough time becomes a forest. The smallest savings given enough time becomes a fortune. But you must see it first in imagination. You must feel the joy of opening accounts that overflow, the excitement of investments that multiply, the calm confidence of financial independence. When you feel it now, you set the vibration into motion, and time obeys your command. This leads to the next truth, to turn time into an asset, not a liability. Most people fear time. They feel it slipping away. They see it as the thief of youth, the bringer of decay, the reminder of mortality. But those who align with wealth know time as a friend, a builder, a silent partner in their fortune. Time is only a liability when wasted in fear, procrastination, and unworthy pursuits. Time is the greatest asset when it is united with consistent action, deliberate intention, and the vibration of expectancy. Imagine time not as something passing, but as something working for you. Each day, each week, each month is a craftsman building your wealth in the unseen. With every consistent act of saving and investing, time compounds your effort. What you cannot see in the moment is being woven beneath the surface, ready to break forth as abundance. This is the law of gestation. Just as a seed does not sprout the instant it is planted, so your wealth may not appear immediately. But if you remain faithful to the vibration of already having it, time must reveal it. To turn time into an asset, you must dwell in the state of patience. Patience is not waiting with frustration, but resting in faith. It is knowing that the outcome is certain, and that time is simply arranging the circumstances. The impatient spend recklessly, looking for quick gains, chasing illusions, and losing themselves in disappointment. The patient holds steady, knowing that the longer time serves them, the greater the reward. This is not passive waiting, it is active faith, where each day is lived in the assumption that wealth is already unfolding. You begin to notice how time magnifies your choices. The person who wastes a day here and a week there finds that years vanish with nothing to show. The one who honors time, using each day to take even the smallest step toward wealth, finds that years compound into abundance. Time does not play favorites. It multiplies what you give it, whether wasted or wisely used. Therefore, you must see time as your ally, your most loyal companion in creating wealth from your salary. Feel into this truth now. Close your eyes and imagine the version of yourself 10 years from today. See the accounts, the investments, the freedom. Feel how natural it is, how inevitable it is, how assured it is. Realize that the only difference between that version and the you of today is the faithful use of time. Each day you spend aligned with saving, investing, and holding the vibration of wealth, you are stepping into that future self. In fact, that self already exists in the unseen, and your task is simply to walk into it by allowing time to do its work. When you honor time, you move from desperation to calm confidence. You no longer chase wealth in a frenzy. You embody it quietly, steadily, unshakably, and this vibration itself attracts more opportunities, more income, more expansion. Time then ceases to be something to fear and becomes something to celebrate. Every sunrise is no longer a reminder of loss, but a gift of multiplication, a signal that your fortune is ripening. To upgrade your financial knowledge is to step into the awareness that consciousness itself is the true source of wealth. No amount of income can sustain a fortune if the mind that guides it remains small, limited, or ignorant of the laws that govern prosperity. Wealth is not created by money alone. It is created by awareness of how money moves, how it grows, how it obeys those who understand its laws. When you decide to expand your financial knowledge, you are not merely learning facts or numbers, you are aligning yourself with a higher vibration of understanding. You are stepping into the consciousness of someone who knows how wealth flows, and therefore, wealth must flow to you. There is a profound difference between the one who spends blindly and the one who spends with wisdom. The difference is not in income, it is in knowledge. Imagine two individuals earning the same salary. One ends the year with nothing to show, the other ends the year with growing savings and investments. The difference is not chance, it is not luck, it is knowledge applied with conviction. The vibration of wealth cannot stay with the one who does not understand how to respect and guide it, but it clings to the one who seeks and applies knowledge. To upgrade your financial knowledge, you must first accept that you are worthy of understanding wealth. You must shed the belief that money is confusing or beyond you. Money is nothing more than energy given form, and once you understand how to direct it, it becomes your servant. Read, study, listen, observe. Fill your mind with stories of how wealth is created with principles of saving, investing, compounding, and managing resources. Each piece of knowledge is a seed planted in consciousness, and as you dwell upon it, it bears fruit in your decisions. But knowledge is not just intellectual. It must be absorbed into your imagination, lived in your inner world, and felt as if you already embody it. When you imagine yourself as someone wise with money, someone who knows what to do with every dollar, you enter into that vibration, and your actions naturally follow. The universe mirrors back the state you occupy. If you dwell in confusion, your finances will reflect confusion. If you dwell in mastery, your finances will reflect mastery. By upgrading your knowledge, you step into the state of mastery, and money begins to obey you as if it had no choice. This elevation of awareness also protects you. Those who lack knowledge fall prey to fear, to debt, to schemes that promise quick wealth but bring only loss. But when you know, you see clearly, you are not swayed by illusions because your vibration is anchored in truth. Wealth then becomes stable, not fleeting, because it rests on a foundation of wisdom, and wisdom, once gained, can never be taken from you. It is a permanent shift in consciousness, a permanent expansion of your vibration, and therefore it continuously attracts more of its kind. When you upgrade your financial knowledge, you also raise your standard of thought. You begin to see beyond survival and step into creation. You stop asking how you can stretch your income and begin asking how you can multiply it. You stop fearing the future and begin shaping it deliberately. And as this shift takes place within, the outer world bends to reflect it. Opportunities that once passed by unnoticed now appear as obvious. Solutions that once felt hidden now reveal themselves, for the mind trained in wealth becomes magnetic, and what is magnetic cannot help but attract. This naturally leads to the next principle, to create multiple streams beginning with your salary. Most people think their salary is a limit, a fixed measure of what they can achieve. But the truth is that your salary is a seed, and within a seed lies infinite expansion. To believe that one stream of income is enough is to place a ceiling on your own imagination. Wealth consciousness recognizes that every salary can be transformed into more. It is the foundation upon which other streams can be built. Imagine your salary as water flowing from a spring. If you direct it carefully, it splits into streams, each moving toward fertile ground. One stream becomes savings, another becomes investments, another becomes skills that create opportunities, another becomes ventures that multiply income. The original source remains the same, yet through intention and direction, it creates abundance far beyond its original size. This is the secret of wealth creation, to see the infinite within the finite, to multiply through imagination and action what appears limited. Multiple streams of income do not appear by accident. They begin first in consciousness. You must imagine yourself as someone whose money works for them in many directions. You must feel the security, the joy, the freedom of knowing that no single source controls your life. When you embody this state, ideas will arise, connections will present themselves, and doors will open. What seemed like chance will simply be your inner vision expressing itself outwardly. The vibration of expansion attracts expansion. Some may believe that only entrepreneurs or investors can create multiple streams, but even with a salary alone, this is possible. By setting aside portions of your income into investments that grow, by learning new skills that create additional opportunities, by turning talents into services, by allowing your money to serve you rather than vanish, you create new flows of wealth. What begins as one stream becomes two, then three, then many, until your life is surrounded by abundance on every side. The power of multiple streams is not only financial but spiritual. It creates a deep sense of freedom, a knowing that you are supported by life in more than one way. It releases fear, for no single loss can shake the foundation. This freedom itself raises your vibration, and in that vibration, even greater streams begin to form. Life is always seeking to expand, and when you align with this law, expansion becomes effortless. The key is to see beyond the visible. Your salary may appear fixed, but within it is the potential for unlimited growth. Do not see it as an end, see it as a beginning. Direct it with wisdom, multiply it with vision, and allow it to unfold into streams that flow together into a river of abundance. The world will reflect back to you what you hold in consciousness. If you believe you are limited, you will remain limited. If you believe you are expanding, you will expand. To associate with people who think wealthy is to place yourself in the atmosphere of expansion. Every thought carries a vibration, and every person radiates the state they consistently dwell in. When you spend your hours among those who live in fear of money, who complain of lack, who speak endlessly of limits, you begin to mirror their vibration. Their energy seeps into your imagination, and without realizing it, you start to accept their state as your own. But when you choose to surround yourself with those who think in terms of abundance, who speak of possibilities, who expect wealth as natural, you rise into their atmosphere. Their vibration lifts yours, and you cannot help but expand into the likeness of what you continually behold. It is said that iron sharpens iron, and so does consciousness sharpen consciousness. You do not even need to ask for their secrets, for simply being in the presence of wealth-minded individuals alters your state. Their casual talk of investments plants seeds in your mind. Their calm attitude toward challenges teaches you resilience. Their vision of what is possible stretches your imagination beyond its old limits. What once felt unreachable begins to feel natural because their vibration is contagious. In truth, you are always becoming like those with whom you associate most closely. Therefore, to think wealthy, you must dwell among those who live in the vibration of wealth. This does not mean you must abandon those around you, but it does mean you must carefully guard your inner circle. If you cannot physically meet those who radiate abundance, then fill your world with their words, their books, their teachings, their stories. Let their consciousness reach you through pages, through voices, through examples. Association is not only physical, it is vibrational. The mind you consistently feed upon becomes the mind you express. By choosing deliberately who influences you, you are choosing deliberately what vibration you will dwell in. As you associate with wealth-conscious individuals, you begin to see life as they do. Obstacles shrink in their presence, opportunities multiply, and what others call impossible becomes simply a matter of timing. Their vibration confirms to you that wealth is normal, that abundance is expected, that prosperity is a state of being, not an accident of chance. You begin to assume the same truth, and as you assume it, your world reflects it back. The law of life is always to mirror the state you occupy, and by dwelling among those who think wealthy, you occupy that state until it becomes your own natural dwelling place. This brings us to the final key, the realization that discipline is the bridge to your rich future. Imagination is the root of all creation, but discipline is the hand that waters the root until the tree bears fruit. Without discipline, the vision fades into a dream that never takes shape. With discipline, the vision becomes inevitable, for every act of discipline reinforces the vibration of already having what you desire. Discipline is not hardship, it is devotion. It is the daily choice to remain faithful to your future self rather than surrender to the fleeting impulses of the moment. Discipline is the bridge because it connects the unseen with the seen. You may imagine wealth, you may feel it within, but it is the disciplined act of saving, investing, learning, and persisting that makes the invisible take form. Every time you honor your commitments, every time you hold steady to your vision despite distractions, you are crossing the bridge into your wealthy self. Without discipline, the bridge collapses and the vision remains distant. With discipline, the bridge becomes unshakable, carrying you steadily from where you are to where you choose to be. True discipline is not born of force but of alignment. When you dwell in the state of being wealthy, discipline is no longer a struggle. It flows naturally, for your actions begin to match the vibration you live in. The one who truly feels wealthy within finds it easy to save, easy to invest, easy to continue learning, because these acts are expressions of their inner state. Discipline becomes joy when it is seen as devotion to the reality already assumed. It is no longer about sacrifice, it is about alignment with the truth that is unfolding. Imagine your wealthy self living in freedom, in security, in abundance. That version of you exists now in the unseen. Discipline is simply the act of walking into that version day by day, decision by decision, choice by choice. Each disciplined act is a step across the bridge. Some steps feel small, some feel heavy, but each one is progress. The bridge does not appear all at once, it is built through faithfulness. And as you continue, you find that the distance shortens, the vision draws nearer, until at last you stand fully in the life you once only imagined. Discipline also carries a vibration of respect for self. When you discipline your actions, you are declaring to life that your future is worthy, your vision is sacred, your wealth is inevitable. This respect attracts more of the same. Life mirrors back to you the seriousness with which you treat your destiny. If you are casual, life is casual. If you are devoted, life is devoted. The bridge responds to the traveler, and the more firmly you walk upon it, the faster it carries you forward. So understand, discipline is not merely routine, it is not mere habit, it is the vibration of consistency, the resonance of loyalty to your chosen reality. It is the invisible rope tying you to the wealthy self that already exists, pulling you steadily toward its manifestation. Those who lack discipline drift endlessly between desires, never arriving, always hoping. Those who cultivate discipline arrive, for they never waver from the path that connects imagination with reality. And so the combination is complete. When you associate with those who think wealthy, your vibration rises to match theirs. When you live in discipline, you anchor that vibration into daily action. Together, these two forces elevate you beyond the limits of salary, beyond the illusions of lack, into the inevitable unfolding.